It's Thursday, March the 13th, 2025, and in this evening's show, we catch up on all the games since the last pod, including the coma-inducing stalemate at home to Peterborough. Fine 3-0 away win at Barnsley, perhaps our best performance of the season. And also Tuesday night's just done enough victory against Cambridge, which puts Blackpool only 9 points away from the last playoff spot with 10 games to play. Couldn't happen, could it? Tradition. Forgot to say the name of the show. Extra time show. Bang the banner up again. Sonny shares some hopium. Who can recognise the little play on word there?
Very good.
Sonny.
Do you know what? These faces remind of? Well, the most at the bottom left corner. You remember the Fast Show with the jazz?
Yeah. For the benefit of the audio pod.
Flag of it out and bit too early for Raggy to think that. They probably don't remember it.
No, I don't, but I'll take it.
It's not. I wasn't dissing you. It just reminded me when I saw it then with the smoke haze. And...
It's AI. It's just AI. Don't worry.
Yeah, we've got AI Raggy on this evening, coming on the bench at the last minute. He hasn't been on for a while, but his who dropped out? Was it Gricey, wasn't it? Gricey got called into work. So Raggy is filling in and doing it in a very relaxed manner. Welcome back, Raggy. Good to have you back, mate.
We're all right. We're all positive. A wonderful day on the Gold Coast today.
Anyone who's in our Patreon group will note a very change a momentous change in the mood of Mr. Ragazzino, going from despair and outrage to the positive man that we now see, enjoying a cigarette and a large glass of Raggy.
That might be why I'm happy. It's all right, good. Time to be positive. Time to be positive. Come on. There's chances.
So Matt's also here. Hi, Matt. You right?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm not as positive as Raggy, but who can be tonight? Fantastic start. But I'm good. Thank you very much.
And Tim is back fresh from a trip in Germany, which I'm sure will be boring us all with.
Fresh.
Over the next...
Fresh is probably not the adjective that I would use at this point in time. I think it's refreshed my footballing soul to go to Germany, but the alcohol and the port knuckle and all the other trappings of a trip to Deutschland leave you feeling a little bit like you need to go on some form of health farm when you get back.
But 3 wins in 5, that's enough to get your juices going again, surely. Although the 0-0 at home to Peterborough, Matt, which is the game we're going to very, very briefly cover first week on Tuesday, wasn't it? I thought we'd reached our season bottom there, and if you're telling me 2 games after that, there's a very slight chance of the season still being alive and still making the playoffs, would have laughed at you. Such was the despair and drudgery of that performance and game.
Yeah, because this followed the Stockport result, which obviously everyone who was around that weekend, I was away that weekend, and it was a result that obviously gave us a bit of, well, that was the end of that type of sort of attitude, really. And then Tuesday night was as dead, as dull as it can be. It was just horrible. Everyone was just having a chat in the stand, really, because there was nothing going on the pitch. And it was one of those games that you just wanted to end before it began, really. It was drudgery at its best, wasn't it, really? Yeah, pathetic.
Tim, this was a game, another one I forced Eddie to go to, and he was having a right go at me for forcing him to go there, a right go. And I was like saying, you're right. I should have just watched it. And it was freezing as well, wasn't it? It was absolutely freezing.
Unfortunately, and there's going to be a recurring theme tonight for me. I wasn't there. We had some bad news in the family on that Tuesday, so it just didn't. I didn't feel it. I wasn't in the mood to go. I did end up watching it a little bit, but I think the decision not to go, putting aside the family issues, was a very wise one. I don't regret it. Let's put it that way.
Raggy, I guess the Anfield wasn't a hive of activity and excitement in the build-up to this one, before or afterwards. Perhaps during, when everyone's tossed it off and just gone to the Anfield for a good drink instead, which would have been the better option.
No. It started off with an atmosphere like a 0-0 draw, and it finished with a 0-0 draw. That was about it for that night.
Not a lot more you can say about it. I literally cannot remember anything from it. It's just been wiped from everyone's minds.
No, I mean, either. But we've gone on to better things since, John, haven't we? So
we have. So let's move quickly on to Barnsley 0, Blackpool 3. I don't think any. Did you go, Raggy, at all? I don't know anyone who went.
No, only Gricey, and he just pulled out, hasn't he? He's the only one that went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, but he said before about being the best performance of the season. It probably was watching it. You can take into account Barnsley. They sacked the manager again, didn't they? They sacked the manager last year when we beat him. And then again.
Love us, don't they?
Yeah, don't they just? But it was a great performance. As much as I wanted to remove Sonny Carey from the football club at half time because of them misses, but he saved himself a lot of grief and aggro by doing what he did in the second half, didn't he? Can't fault him. The team played well, brilliant. I know they had a lot of injuries, Barnsley, but who cares? So have we. So we did what we needed to do. And that looked like Barnsley, not a poor side anyway, are they? That looked like a team that was fighting for the playoffs. That's what it looked like. Totally professional performance, put them to bed.
Matt, Tim, did you see the game at all? No, Tim, you probably didn't, did you? 'Cause you're away. Matt, did you catch the game?
Yeah, cool. I didn't go to South Yorkshire. It's my lad's birthday over the weekend, so we were having a family do in the evening, so I wasn't able to get back in time otherwise, but managed to watch it, and yeah, it was a good performance. I mean, we could have been 2 or 3 up at half time. One of those games where something, when I look back at it, and even at the time when I was watching it, I was thinking, are we actually that much better than Barnsley, or are Barnsley pretty poor? I couldn't really work it out, or is it just that one set of, one, like Rags just said, like, one 11 or 13 or whatever was involved, have got a little bit more about them, that they think that the season's not over, and the other 11 or 12 from the opposition thought, actually, can't be arsed today or whatever. So it was a bit of a funny one to sort of suss out from that perspective. But fair play to us. We played well, passed the ball around. Excuse me, I got a bit of a cough. Excuse me. Passed the ball around well. Didn't do an awful lot wrong, apart from missed 3 or 4 in the first half, as we've alluded to. And it was as good as away performance as we've put in for, 12 months or more, probably.
Tim, have you managed to catch the goals at all? As guys have said, Sonny Carey's missed a couple of chances, but he's bagged his first, and Fletcher's got another, and then Carey again. Carey,
the one in the first half was a eye-wateringly bad miss, wasn't it? But I think what I would say is he's getting into those positions. How many times have we spoken on this podcast about wanting a midfielder who's going to get into scoring positions, but they weren't doing it, and he's like a player reborn for me, because listen. I don't mind him missing, as long as if he scores 1 out of 3 from centre midfield, then he's doing an incredible job, because most strikers don't do that. So yes, he's going to have misses, but if he has 6 shots in a game, that's 5 more than most of our midfielders have had for the last 3 seasons. So keep it going, Sonny, because you're turning into a goal machine. And But it's actually when you see him running forward in the way that he's done in a couple of these games, he looks a very good player. How Mitch is not on tonight when his love child is being eulogised is beyond me. It's incredible that he's not, undone whatever other plans he had to make sure that he was on here to deliver the soliloquy that's no doubt required.
Nearly pressed the Timmins button, but you think you've rolled that one out before, so I'll keep the powder dry on that one.
If it's a good one, you keep using it, don't you?
Tony's just said he's finally becoming the player we'd all hoped he's become, and cast your mind back to when we were all joking when CJ got his new contract. We were all having a bit of a joke about the fact he's only playing to get his new contract, which he duly got, was it like 4 or 5 years, then went seriously off the boil. Now, there are rumours going around, aren't there, that Sonny Carey is angling for a move to get back down south or something. Any credence in these rumours, do we think?
Well, just the thing on that, these players are of a certain standard. They can't just switch and change and decide I'm going to be a better player because I'm playing for a contract. I don't think that at all. I think it's quite clear that Steve Bruce has had a big impact on Sonny Carey and Ashley Fletcher. I don't think CJ Hamilton's ever changed, has he? From what he does, he has some good games, then he disappears for 10 games, then he's back for a couple. That's just about finding him the right game to play. I'll always say the guy's not a footballer, he's a sprinter, but the opposition don't know that from the start. Kick that ball down the wing and let him run. His game should be to run and cross the ball. I don't think these players can just pick and choose if they want to play better to sign for a contract. I think Steve Bruce is having the impact. And that is more to do with confidence than anything. It's obvious he's said to Carey, you want you more direct and you're getting a run in this team, which is, I'm not sure he really ever has a major run, has he? In the team, has been our main midfielder or our main attacking midfielder. He just seems direct now. He missed some chances at Barnsley, and like everyone else, I was giving it loads at our time, but fair play to him. Redeemed himself, and he's definitely a better version of Sonny Carey than we've ever seen before. I don't think that's a contract. I think he's playing for a manager he really wants to play for, and he's been given a role that he's made for. Same with Fletcher.
Dave's just said Raggy's spot on. Matt, Tim, same to you. It's a great point from Raggy there. What has changed for Sonny Carey just to become this player that we all hoped he would become after 3 or 4 years, and it's been a dramatic change over the last sort of 6-7 games, hasn't it? He's now him and Morgan, the number one, the first two on the team sheet for me. I think Evans is falling back a bit, but you look at Sonny Carey now and he's picking that ball up, and you think he's a goal threat. It could be a potential goal, and that Barnsley game,
it might be a little bit of a step too far, but we're jumping ahead. But when I saw when the build up to the goal that he scored on Tuesday night, he looked a little bit like Charlie Adam running with that ball, and that's what I want. But we haven't had a player who runs at the opposition for midfield, particularly deep midfield, and running 50 yards with it for a long time, and it's great to watch when it happens. You know, when you see a player who's got his head up and got confidence, actually prepared to run at players and take players on, and make the opposition make decisions that they're either going to pull him down and give us a free kick, or they're going to close him and create some space for somebody else. Whatever it is, he's a player on top of his game. As I said before, he's got a smile on his face. Somebody said in the comments it looked like he's filled out a bit. Maybe Bruce has had him in the gym as well. I don't know, but he looks like he's becoming a bit of a unit to me. So I'm with Raggy on this. I think Sonny, from what I know of him, from what I've heard about him, his attitude's always been fantastic. But if you don't get a run in the team and things aren't quite going for you, then you your form dips, and sometimes it's just not in your control. These players haven't got an on-off switch, as Raggy said. Sometimes you play well, sometimes you don't. Evan started this season as by far and away the best player. At the moment, he isn't. And I don't think that's down to him not playing well. I think that's just, it's cyclical, isn't it? Is that players go through periods of good form, bad form, indifferent form. If you get a very, very consistent player, then they are often the exception to the norm, I'd suggest. So it's Sonny's on the up at the moment without a shadow of a doubt. And I think once hopefully we get Bloxham back on Saturday and, gives us a little bit more bite up front, and who knows where that can take us.
And if you remember, sorry, was it about 18 months ago, or 2 years, when they did a bit of an interview with players and asked them which current player do you think could play in the Premier League? I think they all said Sonny Carey, didn't they? If I remember rightly. I'm not making it up. So players have been able to see something in him for a long time. I think he must be really, really good on the training ground, and that's why I think someone like Steve Bruce has been the impact on him. Found his position and give him the confidence to do it.
What he's also had to do, Raggy, I think from what I've heard, I can't remember where I've heard it from now, but when he was released from Norwich, he was devastated, and I think and a lot of players would have sulked and ended up not just going out of the game. But he built himself up, gets himself to Kings Lynn. That must have been a huge disappointment in some respects to go from Norwich there. But he's rebuilt his career, hasn't he? And it takes a certain mindset and a certain character, I think, to do that. And it hasn't always gone right from him. It's not always gone right from here, but I don't think I've ever thought that he doesn't give everything. And he's actually reaping the rewards that listen, it's a few weeks, isn't it, we're talking about, but nevertheless is reaping the rewards of a lot of hard work, I suspect.
Mark, just come over to you. Couple of just initially what Tim's just said there, character. The fact what's impressed me most with Carey is he's had this first half against Barnsley. He's tried his luck several times and it's not come off, but he hasn't let that bother him. His head's not gone down and he's still driven forward, attacked, got shots away, as was it Bison, somebody say there. Shots have been fumbled by the keepers. If you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery, etc. So that's a very good, strong mentality he's got there. And also what was the other thing I read? I rate Carey a lot from Cheeseoid. It's a lot more to do with husband. He's left back than it's Carey, and also he's going to say, there it is. I think he's attributing the work Coulson's doing down the left-hand side also to his upturning form, and that's a fair point as well.
Yeah, I think one of the things that presumably Bruce has mentioned to Sonny Carey and others for that matter is that actually when you get the ball, we go forward with it. Because we've had, prior to obviously Bruce coming in, we've had sideways motion football, and it gets drilled into you as a footballer. You're doing it every day in training. And talking about training, I thought it was a great point what Raggy mentioned, because it's something that I've mocked and joked about amongst our group about Sonny Carey, why he gets picked. And I've said he must be bloody great in training, but then he gets dropped a couple of games later. And I think, I think back to like the Fleetwood away game was it last year? I can't remember now.
Yeah.
Time flies. Yeah, Fleetwood away game last year. He was the best player on the par for the second half, wasn't he?
Turn the game. Turn the game, didn't he?
Absolutely. So it's in there, and it just takes somebody with 1,000 games of managerial experience, obviously, to get the best out of him. And just say to the lad, look, you can go past players in training, you can shoot from 20, 25 yards in training, do it on a bloody Saturday afternoon or a Tuesday night or whatever the case may be. And it's just a confidence thing. And, and now he's starting to hit the target a lot more. Things are happening, and it's no coincidence, is it really? So, fair play. And like I say, he's had his knocks in his career. And I heard the other day that he might have had over 100 appearances for Blackpool. And you just think, crikey, he's just not had a run in the side at all, for one reason or another. His own, Christ, he came from Kings Lynn straight into the Championship, which is a massive jump up. But now he's at a level where he is comfortable. It would seem he's got 15, 20 games behind him in a streak now, and we are seeing the best of him. And long may it continue. And what happens in the summer happens in the summer. But I think a lot of it has got to do with a lot of positive mental attitude, as they say, and going forward with the ball rather than just standing on it and going backwards to a fullback or a centre half all the time. So, yeah, I think we're lucky to see the best of him. And who'd have thought that Carey and Fletcher would be our main goal threats in the last few games? It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's a funny old game, isn't it?
Isn't it?
What you said about Carey then playing with Critchley, I'd be interested to see a statistic of how those 100 games he's played under Critchley, and cast your minds back, gents, to when there was a tale going around that a player got fined for shooting outside the box under Critchley. That will stymie Carey's game by not allowing him to do that, and that is from the coach's playbook. There's statistically more chance from working the ball into the box than shooting from outside. So it's a very interesting point. That you can imagine Critchley doing it, can't you? Banning shooting because there's a 0.3% more
guest we had on, John? Who was the guest we had on for an away team who basically said his manager would have fined players if they passed it sideways more than once?
Yeah, who was it?
It wasn't Bolton, was it? Bolton? Was it Evan? I can't remember. It was
I remember. Bolton. No, but, was it not Stockport?
Yeah, it might be last season, I think.
When they pinged us 3-0 at home.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was. But it was interesting. It was an interesting contrast, wasn't it, between the football we were used to, which was all possession based, and don't give it away, and don't shoot, and don't take a man on, with a philosophy that actually you take those risks, you take those chances. I think it was, you pulled Bison's comment up before. Yes. He's having a shot and a keeper fumbles it, and maybe somebody else kicks it over the line, but he's taking chances. He's if you don't shoot, you don't score. And the big problem that we've had over the last 2 seasons is we've played far too safe. And I think Carey's, these players will be instructed to play safe without a shadow of a doubt. When you actually say the opposite and say, actually, don't play safe, I want you to take chances, I don't want you to play the safe ball, then you create goal-scoring opportunities. Whether you take them is then another matter. But if you don't create them, you're never going to score them, are you?
2 for 2 Bisons there. We play counter-attack football, which suits Sonny, absolutely. It's another good point. It suits his game, doesn't it?
Just attacking football, whichever way you look at it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Tony, for Fletch and Carey, a large slice of humble pie, duly eaten. Well done, both. Now, let's turn back to the game then. Ash Fletcher's put us 2-0 up. Deft header from across from the right. I think it was from... Was it Actor or Morgan? But was it Morgan? Yeah. Another great, cool finish from Fletcher. And I found it a bit strange, his non-celebration, because he wasn't there that long either. But it shows the guy's got respect. But again, Raggy, Fletcher doing the business again. What a revelation under Steve Bruce.
Well, he's on 9 league goals now, isn't he? And I don't know if he's scored the odd cup goal, I don't know. But it seems to be one of his best scoring runs in his whole career. And, you get sold for £6 million once upon a time. 6.5 million.
Middlesbrough bought him for that, I think.
Yeah, which seemed very strange at the start of this season. But there is something about it. He's clearly a confidence player. Again, like I said before, Bruce seems to have put his arm around him, got something about it. But he's got a bit of a calmness about him. And he can clearly finish. I mean, that finish at Lincoln away when he dinked it over the keeper. You can't do that unless you've got a cool head. But again, a confidence player. So whilst we're not say winning, but whilst we're not losing and we're on the front foot and we're attacking, and he's getting a regular run in the team, and he becomes the focal point up front, he's gonna keep doing what he's doing, I think. And I think we've got a relatively good chance of closing this gap on the playoffs. So he's going to have to score another 5 or 6 on that run in the next few weeks. But I think he can. I think he will create the chances. He's good enough to finish them. Earlier in the season, he missed some gilt-edge chances, really, didn't he? Some sitters. I don't think he missed them now. I think he's confident enough now to play it, to put it away, and just give him that extra yard. So, listen, every credit to him. And it's someone put on there then about eating humble pie. Well, we all need to, really, don't we? I think everyone had the doubts, but the doubts were justified. I think they didn't look great, but I think again, this is the Steve Bruce impact on that kind of player, and that's what we're seeing with him and Sonny Carey.
Sonny Carey, Matt, put the cherry on the cake against Barnsley. Third goal, 73 minutes. So we scored 3 goals in the space of just under 20 minutes. A ruthless display from Blackpool in that second half. I'm just looking at the XG table there. 3.23 for Blackpool. 19 shots on goal, 8 on target, 6 big chances created. And I don't think I've seen statistics in all those columns as high for Blackpool all season. So where this performance came from, God knows, but long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And 3-0 didn't flatter us at all, did it? Because like we said before, it could have easily been 5 or even 6. And although, let's be honest, I'm trying to think. I think the guy from Barnsley stuck it over the bar early doors, and I can't remember much else they did. Apart from that, maybe a scramble somewhere. That's
Tyra made 1 save, didn't he? From what I remember.
Yeah, not a great performance by the home team. But that's what I'm sort of a little bit I'm not sure how good we really were, because they were equally, they were poor, as good as we were going forward, especially. But I think it was as good an away performance as we've seen for a while, and it's another one where you'd think it gives the players a lot of confidence. There have been 2 defeats since Boxing Day or something like that, isn't it? So they're on a run. It's just obviously we've been hampered by all these bloody draws. But we've got potential anyway over the next few weeks. But I'm not quite as optimistic as some others on the chat and everywhere else at the moment.
Well, you need to be.
Take much, does it?
You need to be.
The pessimist is never disappointed.
We're up, we're down, we're up, we're down. It's just like the product that is on show at the Blackpool Pleasure Beach, isn't it?
That's right.
Is the ticket for the Pleasure Beach better value for money than a ticket for Bloomfield Road at the moment?
Getting closer.
And to which I have got a season ticket for both, actually. I took up the offer to get a season ticket for the Pleasure Beach. You get money off.
Fantastic. So when we're shit, you can just clear off there, can't you? It's only down the road.
We've got 2 products to pick from now. 2. Get the full triad if I can get the Sea Life Centre. Do you think we played so well because all the pressure had gone? That was something that I thought about in this Barnsley game. There's kind of nothing to play for. Season's gone, and they put a performance like that.
And that's where I'm coming from, because Barnsley are mid-table as well, and I don't know whether they're equal. They've got a handful of points more than we have, or 2 or 3 or whatever prior to the kickoff. So you'd expect a little bit more from them, but I just wondered whether there was a little bit of apathy on their behalf. And I know they had a few injuries and stuff, but I think I don't know. They've got it in them, to do this sort of thing. We sort of said, we're only one or 2 passes off a decent move every now and again, and it's just, we've stumbled away the whole through the season, haven't we? But it's all about timing, isn't it? You think of Lincoln just missed out last year, and they were storming the last dozen games of the season.
Well, yeah, you're right. I've forgotten about that.
Yeah, we'll see where we go. You never know.
So we had to back this result up at Bloomfield Road on Tuesday night. Welcome second bottom Cambridge to the international footballing arena that is Bloomfield Road. We had to start this game on the front foot, but we did start it on several clown feet, clown shoes. It was a litany of errors, and you'll laugh at this. I met my sister for a drink in the Dog and Partridge, so we go with the dog, go old school. And I said, it's 1:45. I suppose we better go, aren't we? And then I said, "Come on, we'll have one more drink. We're not going to miss anything, are we?" So I had another pint. I said, "Come on, we'll just miss the first 5 minutes. I fancied another drink." I was in the mood. And I got into the stadium. My sister said, "Oh my God. What's up?" Couldn't believe what I saw. It was like literally the first thing I watched as I came in. Tim, were you there?
No, well, I literally.
Did you miss it?
Dave, I don't Dave Owen does usually the badges on the corner. So me and Dave were staying a day longer in Munich than the rest. Glad we did, because they had all the strike problems, so they had a bit of an out of getting home, which we didn't. I literally walked through the door about 7:05, and the missus said, "Are you going?" And I felt a bit wrong about going when I was turned back home, and also I was knackered. So I thought, no, I'll be a fast-stick family tonight and watch it at home. So I did watch the game, but not live. It'd have been. I probably wouldn't have got there. Might have got there before you did, from what you were saying. But it'd have been touch and go whether we got there anyway. But it'd have been literally throwing the bags on the floor and out the door. Which I think if I was a bit more engaged with where we're at, I would probably have done it. But we got an earlier train than we thought we were going to get anyway, because I was on the crutch still at the moment. I was legging it across Manchester Airport. Me and Dave got on this train as the door shut, and that got us home for 7 o'clock. So we weren't actually even expecting to be home when we were. So, but no, so I didn't. But I've watched it, so I've got kind of slightly more input into this one than the last game.
Has anyone listened to Steve Bruce's post-match? I think he was trying to refer to it was like one of those videos that he used to get in the 90s. I think the interview got out of his Danny Baker's own goals and gaffes. Raggy, that's got to be number one on the 2025 version of this DVD. And I suppose where you stand, you must have been right near it and seen it.
Oh, I did spend the next 20 minutes giving the linesman a load of grief, though, because I'm not having an Esau if it was over the line or not. I still don't know if it was over the line or not now. But it was the most bizarre own goal I think I've been Blackpool, and that even it takes over Curtis Nelson giving the old Abbey stuff a couple of years ago when they were all jumping around like idiots against Huddersfield at home. But God knows what Pennington was doing. I have no idea what was going on there. It's just one of them things, isn't it? It's just one of them things. Calamity.
But it was the double whammy with Coulson starting it all off.
Yeah,
swinging his left foot and it hitting his standing foot.
Oh,
just hilarious, really, when you think back. But I don't think it went in either. But bloody hellfire! Sunday morning at his best, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny now because we won, but it definitely weren't funny at the time.
Yeah. And as Big Dogs just said, it had to be Ballard, didn't it? 3 minutes in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Celebrating like he scored a worldie as well.
Was it you, Raggy, posted on the patrons WhatsApp group the overdubbing to like the clown music to the video, like
It fit perfectly, didn't it?
So yeah, we didn't take the. So long story short, we didn't take the form from Barnsley to the Cambridge home game. However, we did thankfully get on level terms not long after. I think 10 minutes after. What a run, Matt, by the machine that is Odell Afire. Absolutely superb. And he's got to the byline. He's got to the byline, and you think the ball's gone, and pulled it back expertly for the main man, Ash Fletcher, to apply the finish. But Odell Afire, he's another player that's up for me with the Player of the Season award. Him and Albie Morgan vying for it.
It's funny, really, because looking back, you know, he was very, he was almost conservative with how many times he went forward on Tuesday night, I thought. But when he did go forward, obviously we scored. And he's such a powerful runner, isn't he? That he can beat let's say a winger, presumably, 10 yards in our own half. And then 3 seconds later, he's in the edge of their box, isn't he? Causing a bit of mayhem. And again, it comes down to being positive, doesn't it? You know, that's what it's all about, running forward with the ball. He seems to have a better understanding with Apter in front of him than anybody else, I think. And he's certainly he's a quality player, and you know we're not going to unfortunately benefit from his skills after this season. I'm pretty certain of that. But he's a very, very good young player, and I think Brighton and another team probably in the Championship will benefit from him, as I say. But if we can get another few assists, stroke, whatever out of him in the next few games, then you know we'll continue to the positive trend, I gotta say. But yeah, brilliant little run and cut back to keep his head and just pick out Fletch from 3 yards out, whatever it was. Yeah, just a nice little tap in. Lovely.
Fletch should have probably missed that Raggy early on in the season. He'd have shanked it wide.
He probably would. And that's the difference now. It doesn't look like he's going to miss. He's attacking it with confidence now. But yeah, he probably would have and got a load of grief for it. Which, like I say, was probably justified from the fans at the start, but little did we know what a bit of confidence does.
Just talking about O'Fire as a right back, who do we think was the last right back that was better than him that we've got? Because
Marvin
Bryan. Maybe Marvin Bryan.
Yeah.
I mean, I think back, and I think
Mike Davis.
Seamus did really well, but he wasn't with us for very long. And he's an absolute unit, isn't he? And I was a bit disappointed when he went out to right back. I thought, because obviously he'd started off playing centre back for us, and I thought it weakened the side. But the reality is, the reason Jordan Gabriel isn't getting any football is because of him, because he's basically made that spot his own, hasn't he? And the way that he holds people off and gets the ball down the line and drives the ball forward, as we saw on Tuesday night, gets a cross in, I'm struggling to remember the last time I had a player who's been consistently that good in that position. And there's absolutely zero chance of him being with us next year, because if Brighton do loan him out, they're going to loan him out to a good Championship side, I think, and I think he'll get a start with them as well. And that's what he needs.
That might be us. That Championship.
Listen, if you could just send me a couple of bottles of Ragniade across from the Armfield, I'll have them, and then I might be agreeing with you.
Strange things happen. It's the stars are aligning on certain fixtures, which we'll look at in a bit. But
Bias is saying Dujon Sterling. I actually think he's playing better than Dujon Sterling. I think Dujon Sterling got better, but I think he didn't start as well as. I think he's just been so consistent all season.
Yeah, he was great as well, though.
He was good, but I think he improved, didn't he? He didn't start that well. Yeah. I think he got better as the season went on. But yeah, it's a good shout. To be fair, it's a decent call. But I think again that's perhaps at a slightly higher standard as well, isn't it? So, and
this lad's a centre half as well.
Yeah,
that's what he came in as. And he's now looking like the best right back in
world football.
The league, maybe world football, exactly. Yes, cafe like.
Not as good as Dave Burgess, though.
No, he was good.
He was a proper right back.
Those of a certain vintage, naturally. Not much. We had a few chances in the first half, but second half has come around. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. Sonny Carey, another driving run, this time towards the north mat, and he's unleashed one of those thunderbolts again. Just a bit too much for the keeper. The keeper's got a good couple of hands on it, but it had too much sting, too much power, and he's rifled another one in to the back of the net, taking the plaudits of the north and just continuing his fine, rich vein of form, and long may it continue.
Yeah. I mean, he picked the ball up fairly deep, didn't he? Went inside, beat the man fairly comfortably, and as we've mentioned earlier, bought the ticket and won the raffle, didn't he? So happy days. A little bit of a deflection, I think, on the way, possibly, from what I can remember. But it was a decent strike, had some pace on it, that's for sure. And I think it's a confidence thing again. It's just the confidence thing, isn't it? Because he would have either beaten a man possibly and then pushed it out wide to Apter or whatever, or even not even tried to beat the man 6 months ago. So, yeah, it's all positive stuff, isn't it? And he had 2 or 3 other half chances as well. A really good save by the keeper down to his left, I seem to recall. And then one where the keeper saved it with his legs, I think. And he was quite frankly the only threat we had in the second half, I thought. But he's obviously on sort of cloud 9 at the moment, and let's hope he carries that through to the weekend.
One more chance of note, I think, was it when Beasley came on? Was it Beasley at the side netting?
Beasley had a couple of chances, didn't he? He had the side netting shot, and then he had the one where he sort of like tried to round the keeper. And to be fair, he'd done well, but I think the defender covered him, so he couldn't get his shot off, and he had to bring the ball back inside. But for me, Beasley's a great plan B when you're looking for that goal. If you're chasing a game, you're looking for that goal. He's got that ability to create something out of nothing, and but I think that's as far as it goes. I think his issue is going to be if Bloxham's back, and with Fletcher sort of being reasonably on form, and we've got Ennis, he's at the back of a rather long queue at the moment, isn't he?
Let's talk Lee Evans, where the resurgence of Sonny Carey seems to have coincided with the dropping off of Lee Evans. Not a lot going right for him at the moment. Who remembers that free kick? What the hell that was, I don't know. But I was
why did he take it?
Yeah.
That was for a left footer, wasn't it?
Yep.
That was for a left footer all day long. And I'm thinking, when he was taking it, I was thinking, what are you going to do? Because the most he was going to do was cross it in. And I thought, if we had Coulson or whoever, anybody with a left foot, they could have had a shot at goal. As Bison said in the chat, the keeper's a bit dodgy. You want to get the shot off, don't you? So we must have had somebody out there who was capable of swinging a left peg at it from that angle, because it was ideal. It was a type of free kick that, like back in the day, with certain players, whether it, whoever it was, would have fucking loved that on the left back spot. I think even Eardley would have had a go there, wouldn't he? From there and whoever else. So he's mad. I couldn't believe he right foot took it.
I think he's sort of trying too hard in a way. At the start of the season, go and flow and all the rest of it. And whether I don't think you could. I was going to say he's not been the same since his injury, but I don't think he's anything to do with that. I think he's just trying too hard, and maybe just. He needs to cut out the Hollywood style balls. I mean, we had obviously not in the distant past. We had like Charlie Adam who do 30% of his passes would end up in the similar in the stand or whatever. But his 70% chance passes were great. Whereas unfortunately, it's just not working for Evans at the moment. Even his dead balls aren't going in and whatever. Where they should be. So I don't know. He just needs to sort of maybe Bruce needs to have a word with him, like he's had a word with Carey and Morgan and Fletcher or whatever. But he's an old pro. He can work his way through it. I'm sure. But he also, I mean, he played 30 odd games or whatever for us now, which is about the most he's played for about 3 years, isn't it, or something? So he might just be knackered as well, you know.
Nice.
Turned off the smoke detectors tonight.
Oh yeah.
The attendance, Raggy, did you believe the 8,500 that was flashed upon the scoreboard at the end? I think there's a bit of creative license in that.
No, there was 5,000 there at maximum.
It was sparse, to say the least, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it is. But it's something we have to address as fans, that as well, because I know I might have had a change of tact here over the last couple of days, but we're only good when we're all at it together. Whatever's happened at this football club, whether it be promotions, winning playoff finals, fighting them bastards them years ago, it's an unbeatable force when this fan base is all together. And we're all guilty of it. We've all switched off a little bit, got a bit too downbeat, me included, negative over it all, and justified somewhere along the line, because it has been boring and nothing seemed to be going where we wanted it to go. But we've got a responsibility as well, especially things like this that we do, where we are relatively known people. We do have an influence on how we act and how we say things. And if everyone in those positions starts saying negative, everyone starts it, don't they? And I see it in here in the club. People don't want to go. I might just stay here. I might just leave early, get in late. I do it. I've done it. But then the players are coming out on the pitch to an half-empty stadium because people aren't even in seats. Like you say, John, you had another pint at the pub. There's thousands doing it. Then there's people deciding not to go. A bit of that's because there's so many Tuesday night games. I get it. People from out of town just can't get it, but they would do if we were up there or doing something that seems special. We've got to redress it. We've got to get back at it and get back in the ground and get there, and that's going to make the difference. We need to get that for 8,500 there the other night, maximum 5,000. That's terrible. But that's not just on the club. That's on us just being weak and meek and oh, poor us. We need to be not poor us. We need to get our asses in gear and get back. And everyone needs to get back. Everyone needs to start talking a little bit about it. And listen, the club, it's on the club as well. They've got to come out. Positivity. They've got to start telling us the future of this club, where we're going, what we're doing, what the intentions are for promotion. Maybe next season, but listen, it's not over yet. I'll go into it now in terms of if we got at it. There's a scenario here that I was looking at the other day that we know football. Listen, we can go and get beat 1-0 on Saturday and it's all fucked. But Bolton play Stockport on Saturday, and we're focused on Bolton and Reading for now because they're 6th and 7th. Bolton play on Saturday against Stockport before we play. They could quite easily get beat in that game, and then we play late in Orient. So after Saturday, we could possibly be 6 points behind. Then when we play Northampton, Bolton don't have a game. I think it's because of international. They don't have a game. So we could actually end up playing Bolton a week later, 3 points behind them. And yes, they'd have a game in hand, but we'd be playing them that day, 3 points behind them. Now that would be a big game. And if Reading happen to pick up a few points in between here and there, we play them the week later at home again. Yeah. So in the space of 3 games here, and listen, I know it has to go game by game, but in the space of 3 games, we could be level points with Bolton. And why not? Why not? Why not? Let's try and drive this Saturday and come on, let's get in there. Let's get it done. Leighton Orient's heads have gone. Let's just put them to the sword, get rid of them. They might still be above us, but their heads have fallen off. Just like other fields have. They all buckle when the pressure comes. One reason I always believe this club succeeds when we get to the playoffs or anywhere near it is because we don't buckle. We turn up for a party. You go to these grounds, they're all nervous. They're all in the playoffs. We go there for a party. Like, come on. And that's Blackpool. And that's why we succeed. Because everyone's in it. Everyone's together. Everyone's having a party. That's this town. That's this football club. We've got to get back to it. We've got to find a way. And, yeah, heads are down. But that's on us. That's on us. And it's more on people like us that do things like this, that put our faces out there, names out there. If we're writing stuff and talking negative and down, and there's people that are quite prominent on social media, on AVFTT, on Twitter, on Facebook. Even them people talking to you, people, I don't even know the guy, but people like Bison's, his name comes up everywhere. You know, there's loads of them. It's for these people. You're more influential than you think. You have more effect on everyone than you think. And you can garner this spirit, bring it back. Let's just have a go on Saturday. Let's just have a go on Saturday. Let's get people in that ground a bit earlier. I'm not saying turn up half an hour earlier, but get in that ground for when they come out. Let's get it singing, get it bouncing. Let's see what happens. See what happens. And Bolton Stockport game's at 12:30, so we're actually going to get to see if they get beat before we go in there. Now, wouldn't it be great if they did? That would add to it. Say a 3-game swing there, and that still leaves then. How many games we got to go? 10. That still leaves another 7 games then. 7 games, and we could be level on points, or 1 or 2 points out of it if Reading have a couple of results. Who we then play the week after, and that's when we'll be at our best. That's when we'll give it them, and there'll be no stopping it then. And that team, what he showed at Barnsley, what we've seen in glimpses, have got it in them. We have got a player like Bloxham who will be awesome when he gets going properly. And I think the players, I think they believe that they are far better than they are. Bruce believes that. We've given ourselves loads to do, but there's a scenario there in them 3 games. Anything can happen. And I know we can turn up and get beat 1-0 and that's it. Everyone's got it. But why not let's just have it for this Saturday and say, let's just start and see what happens. See what happens. Because there won't be any stopping us when we get going. And that's all I think. I think we need to change ourselves, get our heads out of our arses and say, come on, we're Blackpool. And everyone out of town who would usually come and go, so you know what, I might not bother today. Just get there. Just get there, get back, and let's get going. And I urge the club to come out with things as well, positive things. Get out there and get everyone at it. And that's what I think. That's where I'm standing now, between now and Saturday anyway. And then we'll take it from there.
Well, that's me in the pub an hour earlier before kick-off normal.
It's like listening to an inspiring speech by Churchill, isn't it? I'm stoked for Saturday now. I'm going to come an hour early as well.
I was watching Netflix last night, John, but that's blown me up. That's blown that away.
Yeah.
A bit of Churchill on there. No comparison.
It's like Trump off, wasn't he?
Oh,
we
yeah.
Need to get him in his fatigues and with a cigar in his mouth on that fag.
Exactly. We'll fight them on the North Stand.
A glass of whiskey instead of your Ragier.
We'll fight them in the Arndale.
Yes.
We will never surrender.
Listen, this club and the football club's been mentioned in the Houses of Parliament, hasn't it, today?
Yeah.
Here we go. This is it.
Raggy has made me want to smash my house. It's a Delia moment. Let's be having you.
Smash it up. Get yourself out. Get them all there. Get everyone there. Stop it. What's the worst that can happen? If it all goes bent, everyone can turn up at this door after the game and I'll buy each and every one that's pissed off a pint. I promise you. So,
what if we lose on Saturday?
If it all goes tits, yeah. If we don't win, if we don't win,
orderly queue, everybody.
Listen, I promise you, if we don't win and anyone turns up here, I'll be stood at that door and I'll buy each and every person who wants one a pint. But we're gonna win.
I'm confident we're going to win Saturday.
It's quid a kid as well, isn't it?
Yeah, get them all, bring everyone.
About timing as well, isn't it? like you mentioned earlier, letting Orient have gone, haven't they?
Of course, and listen, they're a kid, so there's another responsibility of all of us that want people to do things with ticket prices and want to get kids in the ground. Well, presumably there'll be more kids there on Saturday than there might have been at another game. It's for us to get in there and show them, here, we're all here, here's the atmosphere back. Let's get it going. That's it. There might be 20 kids that get hooked off that game on Saturday. There might be 100. There might be none. Might go bent and it's crap and that's it. But that's on us. We can do that. Why not?
Yeah, Bloxham back on Saturday, confirmed from the horse's mouth. Big dog. So we've got Bloxham coming back. We've got Andy Lyons. He can't be far away either. We're looking quite strong all of a sudden.
Because Bloxham arguably was meant to be back for Peterborough, so he's missed a couple of games. I think that probably we and he and Bruce thought he was going to be available for. So it's long over. I remember being up in the lounge and must be 4 or 5 weeks ago now, and he said then 3 to 4 weeks. So we're now on week 5, I think, from there. So it's going to be like can't wait. I mean, that's good. You know, if he's fit to start, that's going to be a massive fillip for us because he's different gravy to a lot in this division.
All fit to come on. They probably made a decision to leave him a couple of games longer, thinking we might be out of it here. You know, no point risking him. But now it's transpired that we've given ourselves a chance. And whether even if he's just on the bench, he's there, isn't he? He's there and he's back. And when he gets on that pitch, he's going to want it. So
60 minutes, 60 minutes, unleash him to finish them off.
Whatever. But let's have full faith in Steve Bruce. Whatever he thinks, whatever he says, he's the man for us, Bruce. Definitely.
So we have got Orient on Saturday. The old pantomime villain that is Richie Wellens returns to Bloomfield Road, but as Raggy said, they are on a bit of a downward spiral at the moment, so pretty good time to play them. I believe they've got quite a few players out injured as well. So how do we see this game going?
Well, their heads have gone, and they'll be low on confidence, and we've got to get into them in that first 10, 15 minutes. Get that crowd going, get into them, get 1-0 up, and we'll put them to bed. We do to them what we did to Barnsley. That's what we need to do. And I think we will. We're certainly capable of it. Without the calamity moment, we don't need that. We don't need one of them throwing in. But
it can't get any worse, can it?
Go get Mick on. Get Mick.
Oh, it can.
It can. Yeah, Orient have lost 5 in a row. 5 in a row.
Yeah. I've got the feeling we're going to win. That's it. It's in me. I think we're going there to win. I think it's and then
I'd say we need to get that North rocking on next month. I'll be returning to the North on Saturday. I've not been in there for a few weeks with leg and everything, so looking forward to it. And I think you make very valid points, Raggy. I think we, you know, until the fat lady sings, so to speak, I think we've got to give it everything that we've got, haven't we? And
there's nobody better. There's no better fan base to do it. There's nobody better. No one can do it like it's done here when it's done properly. So
let's show Orient what we're all about.
Yeah, that's it. Let's show them. Let's show them that they're just late at Orient. Who are they? Where's the Ballon d'Or? Bring your Ballon d'Or, lad, when you play us. That's what we want. Where are they?
That's right, David. That's what we've been missing. Tim not in the North.
I've not been to the North since New Year's Day. I think it was New Year's Day we played, wasn't it? That's how long it is. So
yeah, don't lose your ticket this time, Tim.
I know, I lost my ticket for those who
told us about this. Nick told us all about it.
Oh, did he? I've not watched back the show. Thank you, PC Smart.
Right, speaking of Nick, we're on an hour, so we'll wrap it now. Go around the room, match predictions. Orient, Tim will you do you last, Raggy. What are you thinking score-wise?
3-0. I think will be a carbon copy of Barnsley, this.
Matt?
Strange enough, I was thinking 3-0 as well, just to avenge the 3-0 that they did to us at their place.
That's because you've seen the light.
Absolutely. And I was at Leighton Orient. It was absolutely disgraceful performance. So I'm hoping for a much better turnout this weekend. Bloody hell.
Looking at the last 3 games, Tim, they've only been losing by 1 goal. 2-1 at Charlton, 1-0 at Rotherham, 2-1 at Northampton. So with that bit of...
A Richie Whetham's team always worries me. Whether you know...
Only lost by 1 to Bolton, 2 by Birmingham. So it's going to be tight.
Yeah.
3-0 time.
But I would be failing my responsibilities if I portrayed any negative vibes on this podcast.
Exactly.
So
exactly that.
With the North Korean call to arms that you know, sort of, we've all got on the same page. Don't want to get dragged off to the gulag by Raggy. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win.
Every credit.
Shall I say Orient 2-1 for the lols? Don't want to be branded a disgrace to Blackpool Football Club again, so I will reverse that and say 2-1 to Blackpool. And it's going to be the start of the new perfect 10. So how's about that for some positivity, Maggie?
There we go.
It's already written anyway. It doesn't matter what you say or think. It's already written in the stars. They're all aligned. Ready. We're ready to go.
Right, speaking of stars, look at that patreon.com/SeasidersPod. All stars, the people that support this show. So if you've liked what you've seen this evening, fancy chucking in £3 a month to help us with our production costs, please feel free to do so. Do like and subscribe to this video if you're watching on YouTube. And all remains to be said is thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for interacting. And here's to the perfect 10. Come on, the pool.
Come on, Pool.